Welcome to HSBC Build and Grow, a series that focuses on managing finance for business continuity. As financials takes center stage in business continuity conversations, your story together with HSBC is proud to present this series, featuring some of the finest minds in the ecosystem to help businesses leverage the financial ingenuity, perspective, and insights from these experts to power their own journey, their own continuity. You tell us from your lens what is Milkbasket and what's the story you're building there.
My lens, my perspective on Milkbasket is something that the world has not seen before. And I think there's something that possibly they might not ever see again in terms of how unique we are and how we feel unique we are. And I'll tell you why I say that, because when we started, we were the world's first in many things that we did, from model, technology, supply chain, delivery, and how we treat customer in its entirety. And why I say that you will not see anyone like this again is because the way we have developed it, it's very, very unique. And now the DNA of the organization has become such that you just cannot go and replicate the DNA. You can replicate the model, but the way we would treat a customer, the way we would answer the query, the way we would look at the supply chain, the way we do initiative or send them a rose or send them a cake, that's who we are, and that's how our customers know us. So that's why unique child cannot be copied. Unique DNA.
And now that I have you here, and I think we are speaking for the first time, I want to understand from you, why did you decide to start Milkbasket?
Milkbasket was a problem to a solution on a daily basis, frankly speaking. And it was also an attempt to say that can something be done in the grocery world. When we started in 2015, we had multiple players playing around. Many of them are still there. A few of them are still there. Many of them have vanished. And they were in all formats. I think every city had 2 or 3. So maybe in India, there were 200, 250 grocery startups, if you look at it. When we looked at the model, we said that while there are 2 distinct models, one is what we call online hypermart, and all the players who are in that internationally, globally, Indian. And we have the second, which was the instant delivery model that was picking up very hot, 14 and 15, lot of funding coming in. And it started with the US, with Instacart taking the lead, and then model being replicated across the world. We said that there might be a possibility of a third model here. And why that third model is because my needs are not met by either of the two, either by design or by 2 things. So either by design because customer need is not met, or either because if I meet this need, I become unsustainable. So I think they're the 2 basic pillars of a business from that perspective. So while instant is fulfilling my need, it's not making money. So my need needs to be fulfilled, but the business has to make money so that it can grow and become sustainable. So that's why Milkbasket was born as a unique model to say that a unique supply chain has to be created, which actually doesn't come in our name. We are a newspaper supply chain, actually. We are not a milk supply chain, but we are a newspaper supply chain. Like a newspaper gets published at midnight and gets to you at 7 o'clock. We thought we also would do the same thing. So we take orders till midnight and deliver all your groceries before 7 o'clock in the morning. Every day. And then things like, why should you force a customer to put 100, 200, 500 worth of items in your basket? So we say, you want a Parle-G for 5 rupees, we'll give you a Parle-G and we will not charge anything for you. Because when you go to a shop, does the shopkeeper ask you, madam, no, unless you buy 200, I'll not sell you a 20 rupee packet. They will never say that. So why you have the right to say that when you're doing it online? I found it very counterintuitive from a customer perspective. And then we said, if we are creating a 5 rupee delivery model, can the model make sense or not? And that's how backwards we looked at it. And we said, yes, there is a possibility we can look at. And we had a unit economic positive cluster in first 6 months. And then we said, now we can scale. So,
that's what I want to ask you. I think this is one I think this is something that we need to celebrate as a country. And now I wouldn't say just as a country, but across the world. Now, what you said, within 6 months, you had a cluster which was unit economics positive. I want again to go back to this, that how core was it for you from day one to build a sustainable model? And also, why do you think that you are one of the key players who is surviving and growing, while there were so many, if you remember, in the 2015 vintage, and there were so many who got so much of funding but they didn't survive?
Yeah. So see, as I said, Shraddha, the question is, why do you start? And that's what I answered earlier on. You can create any model to serve any need of a customer. I'm a customer of many brands, and I would like to have moon, and I would not like to pay anything for the moon.
Yeah.
Right? Customer. And let's understand that's a customer. Now the question for a business is, okay, I'm fulfilling this demand, and this is what I'm predicting. Can I make money while fulfilling the demand? So you can create any business, any startup, and keep fulfilling the demand. But if you can't make money in the process, I think you are not doing fiduciary duty to yourself, to your employees, or to your investors.
Yeah.
And someday you go IPO, then obviously you will never reach there. Or even if you reach there, it's an injustice to the entire ecosystem. We call it Ponzi, right? Where things happen because nobody's behind it. It's just building on some fluff. So that's the basic criteria, and because that was the basic criteria, that was very important. I think that's interlinked. If it's not sustainable, you can't make money at a small level, and you can only make money when you are working in a nation, and after you have raised $300 million or $1 billion. That means if you have to make money, and this is retail, right? A mom and pop shop in 500 square feet in a small khoka makes money. Can you not make money? Why can't you make money? If that person can make money, you have to make money. If you can't figure it out, then you should not be in the business.
Yeah.
I cannot withdraw my salary from one khoka, obviously. And for my salary, you need to have that, big scale and everything, and technology and AI and ML and blah, blah. But let's make sure that khoka is sustainable, right? That one unit makes money and is positive. If you can't do that, there is no dream of making you any money.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that was the base criteria. And that's why we said for 6 months, we have to prove it. And after we did that, then we approached for our first round of funding, because till then there was no point. So it was
Wow.
interrelated.
Yeah. And you have a subscription model, right?
Yeah. we do have a subscription model, though the debate with me and typically when I'm having with anyone is, what do you actually mean by subscription? Because depending on how you define subscription, the answer is yes and no.
Okay. So tell us, what do you mean by subscription? Because you did it in 2015. Whatever you did
Yeah.
it in 2015, before subscription as a word also became part of our startup lexicon.
Yeah. So see, 2015, we were not a subscription model. Actually, we launched our subscription in November last year. So for
Okay.
the first 5 years, we were not a subscription model. And what is a subscription model? Subscription model is where you take a commitment from a customer in advance for the amount and the quantity. Amount in terms of what are you going to pay me, and quantity in terms of what I'm going to deliver to you. We have not done that. So this is something to say, hey, can you bring fresh flowers to my office every alternate day? And this is your monthly contract, right? Now, this is a fixed quantity. There would be a bouquet of flower, and there would be a subscription price for that. And a friend of mine is running a startup in London, exactly doing that. So subscription is based on that. 2 liters of milk every day for 30 days. And that costs you 1,200 rupees. Pay me 1,200 rupees. I'll supply to you that every day. That's a subscription model. So as Milkbasket, we have never done that. We are what I call an on-demand service, a grocery player, with a possibility to create a recurring order. So you don't need to put. So Milkbasket is a very unique way. The way we have approached is, the recurring order that you create on Milkbasket is for life. As long as you have money in the account, it will come. So, for example, you can say, I want popcorn every Friday because I watch movies, and I have customers who have done that. Now, till you have money in your account, you will get a popcorn every Friday for the rest of your life. But if your money finishes, then the quantity finishes. So I've not taken a quantity promise. All I have taken is a pattern of your buying, and then I have put it in the technology to enable to deliver it on a at a frequency that you decide. So no upfront payments and stuff like that. But when I said money in the account, that's another thing that we did, was to say, to enable this and to enable hassle-free buying. Uh, and this was again a very core ground knowledge that wherever you do frequent transactions, you end up opening a khata, right? This is with your mom and pop shop. This is with your sabji
Yes.
wala. बीबी जी कल दे देंगे, आज उठा लेना, या 100 रुपए है, चलो कोई बात नहीं. So there is a transaction and that trust happens. And with an online world, you don't do that. There is no ongoing transaction. So we said we want hassle-free transactions. And what if I take commercial transactions from a physical transaction, which means every time I'm buying a biscuit or a milk or a bread or an egg or a cornflake, I don't have to pay money. And
Yeah.
that's what we call frictionless buying.
Yeah.
Day one, we are that. And within that, we are a prepaid model, which means you can put 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000 rupees, whatever you want. Your Shradha, right? and you put it. And once you put that money, you can use that money to buy milk on a daily basis, or you can spend that entire wallet in one day. Or if you don't want anything, you can tell us and we'll put that money back to you. So no commitments. It's a deposit that you have given.
Very, very interesting. Actually very interesting. So basically, for, I don't know if I'm using the right word. So basically, I have my wallet with Milkbasket.
Yeah.
I deposit, and then whenever I want something, I can finish it. Like today is a party, and I might finish all my money in one go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Or I have it for a year, something coming every week or every day. Okay. Yeah.
So you can
very
have it every
interesting.
day. You can have it every week. You can have it every month, and it's your choice whenever you want to come to app and place an order. And when I said subscription, we launched in November, where we have said that we are a subscription only model, which means we have become like a Prime or like a Netflix or a LinkedIn Premium, where we have put a flat charge on a monthly subscription. It has nothing to do with whether you order or not. It has nothing to do with anything. For you to use Milkbasket platform, you have to pay 69 rupees per month, and that's a flat charge. So you can compare it with saying that you're paying 129 for Amazon Prime or you're paying 200 for Netflix. Now either watch one movie or 500 movies and overnight. It's the same price, right? Similarly, at Milkbasket, you can place one order or you can place 30 orders. You can place for 5 rupee or you can place for 5,000 or 50,000. But that's a flat subscription fee. So now we are a subscription model because we have a subscription fee. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it. So but technically just not purely subscription. Now I understand what you're saying.
So most of the milk models that you would see in India and around the world, or subscription models, are like I'll send you a dinner kit every 2 days, right? That's that. Like for example, in 10 years ago, there was a startup called Dina, and very very famous meal kit startup, and that was meal subscription, right? Or there's a meal subscription like every day lunch. I'll send it to you. So those are subscription where you have fixed quantity, fixed quality, and it's coming on a recurring basis. So we are on demand with the recurring order. That's how we look at it.
Yeah. But tell me something. And sorry for my ignorance, but you already were getting the wallet. You already, anyways, if I have to buy from you, then I have to put certain amount of money, and I can buy, and I can avail your service. Why did you put the 69 rupees also?
Sustainability. See, at some point of time, you realize that you can only do so much and run so much with the free. So we don't have any delivery charge, right? So we never charge a customer for anything. Now, the thing is, are we creating enough value on the table? And if there's enough value on the table, the question is, are customers willing to pay for it? and we believe that we are providing a value of 300, 400 rupees per customer per month. And we can start charging a small amount out of that to say that, hey, this is the value that you're getting. And I think that's how it went in. Many customers said that 69 is too small. We did lose approximately 1.8% of total customers to say we don't want to pay membership or subscription charge, which we have seen they have come back after 30 days or 60 days because they realize that taking a car out costs you more.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes of my time spent in going to pick up dahi or biscuit is better to pay 70, or it's raining outside, or it's heat outside, or it's cold outside. It's all about convenience and comfort. Why do you pay money? I think
Yeah.
if you're creating value, you have to extract value, and that's a business for you as a business to decide at what point of time what you can do and how you can do. So a decision taken, and hindsight is always perfect. So good decision.
Anant, now I'm going to take some learning out of you because you've been in the trenches building this and business. And I feel from the outside, this is a very difficult business because launching is easy, but you've sustained it. Now you've gone into this subscription also. Tell me, what has been your understanding of the Indian consumer and the consumer you are serving? Because, there are so many theories that keeps coming. We are value conscious. We don't like to pay subscription. We want to stay away. India doesn't pay. What has been your understanding while building Milkbasket?
I think understanding always evolves, but most of the understanding that you evolve is more on more intricate level specific to your business. Like if you're in fashion, you would say what type of fashion sells and what does not. Customer per se, if you're looking at consumer behavior, I think it remains constant. You cannot change it. You have to create a product that that goes and sits in their routine, in their life, rather than the other way around. There's a lot of inertia that you would always face in changing. And you would be lucky if they change, or you would be lucky to have a trial and then retain would be the holy grail, right? So it's like education, trial, and retention. So trial itself is such a big problem. Retention is a holy grail in itself. From a customer behavior, people want to pay. No, people don't want to pay. People are always value conscious. They always want something at the cheapest possible price. But there is a value for convenience. And I think, and this is what we believe. So we have specifically targeted certain sections of cities. So we are not a citywide phenomena. I don't know whether you know that.
No, I didn't know that. Sorry.
So we are live in Gurgaon for more than 5 years now. Gurgaon was our home. But you could be living in Gurgaon and we would not serve you. So we said we are a retailer. We are like a Subway. We are like a Starbucks. We are like a mom and pop shop. We know which customer is going to come. And we would only serve these particular type of customers. And we would only start our service there. And you could be living next to that, or you could be living half a kilometer away. We would not come to you, right? A better example could be if I am a swimming pool. A swimming pool is for certain people in a society who belong to that society or that community.
Yeah.
Right? Now, and then depending on the demography, I can choose. Second thing that I have to say is that I think no matter which demography you pick in India, and we have picked a very small demography, maybe the top 20% population of a city. That's how we look at on a very high level. Whichever demography you pick, by sheer size of population that we have, and there's nothing wrong about it, we are the world's second largest, right? Becoming the world largest very soon. I think there is enough meat in every segment, in every TG, in every small that you can become not a unicorn, a decacorn.
Yeah.
So that's not an excuse that my customer segment is small. Means, for God's sake, you are not looking at a $60 million population country like United Kingdom, or a a $300 million company like a 300 million population like US. You are looking at 3 times the US population in 1/3 the area. It's dense. It's there. Even people who are rich or presumably rich, upper middle class, lives in clusters which are dense enough for you to make sense of supply chain.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to really different sections of the society to say, hey, everybody here lives in a farmhouse, everybody has an acre of land. That's not happening here. We are by nature living in density. We are by nature, whether we're rich or poor or middle class or upper middle class, lower middle class, density is taken for granted because there is no area. So either vertically, horizontally, we are living together. And that's why retail can make sense in small areas, and small population can be very big for you. This is a slightly controversial. We are in 4 cities, but I believe if we would not have gone in 4 cities and just remain in one, we would be bigger and better. And still we would have been the same size, if not bigger, because it's not that Gurgaon we have saturated. Gurgaon, we hardly have any presence till date.
Yeah, that is you being humble also.
Not really. Means that's a fact. Means I don't know.
Yeah.
We capture maybe 5% of our TGs spent today, not more than that.
All these decisions that you took, and I'm assuming you took it as an entrepreneur along with your team, you would have decided, because these are not very standard decisions, right? And of course there is outcome, and you're building something, surviving and thriving and growing. So the decisions are somewhere in some way working. How easy or difficult and I think it is easy, but you have to tell, is to convince the investors, because you've got good investors in your company. How were you able to get them?
So the decisions that you see today, Shraddha, are the outcome of those negotiations with those investors. Which means going in those negotiations, I cannot really disclose what was the real plan. And the decisions that you see today are also has the wisdom of those investors, clubbed in. So I'm not saying that I'm only executing the plan that I decided. I think we have really got help from the wonderful set of investors, very intelligent, very pragmatic, a lot of exposure in the ecosystem within India, outside India, so that they can guide us. And the outcomes that you're seeing is a mixture of what we went onto the table with a plan, and they said, hey, maybe tweak this, maybe tweak that, maybe drop this, maybe pick it up, and arrived at a common consensus as a board to move forward. So I think that's how it works, and that's the beauty of it, right? I'm in day-to-day business. I'm too much in the business. They are on the business. In the business and on the business have to come together to move forward, and that's the best outcome most of the time.
Yeah, no, why Anant, I also asked you this is because you rightly said that, right? Even in small pockets, India is as big as, like, Karnataka would be Germany, right? Like, but because generally when you talk to investors, and then this is for all the entrepreneurs who will be watching, right? Like when you go to investors, they're always looking for big markets, big opportunities, big plans. And what you're saying is that you're doing it in a structured way. Correct me if I'm wrong. So how easy it is to convince, and what were some of the drivers which got your investors excited?
So, Shraddha, I think that's a decision that you make before you bring an investor on board. Or have that relationship. So I can proudly say that we were running out of money, but we have rejected term sheets in the past where we just did not make sense. Or an investor will tell you, if you can't do what I ask you to do, then we don't want to invest in you. And I'm sorry, maybe there are founders who are willing to do that. And I'm willing to listen, but it also comes with the fact that I did not start a startup when I was 20-year-old. I did my startup when I was 36, 37-year-old. I have had 15 years of international corporate experience, 10 years outside India. I have advised boards and CEOs outside of Fortune 100, FTSE 250 companies across Europe, across US. Don't expect...
I have to tell you this, Anant, talking to you, I could sense it. I sense this thing that many people would be coming to you for advice because you have that thing about you that, you know, and
Yeah,
I had this thing.
I'm not saying advice. I'm saying investors. We were on the topic of investors. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, then you decide whether, and investors have decided, boss, you're too old. I'm not going to invest in you. That's great. Thank
Really?
you. Yeah. And investors have said that you have your own mind, so we don't want to invest in you. That's great. But what I'm saying is the investors that we have, I think that's what they wanted in a founding team or a founder, and we wanted, and we could see that we can agree upon the fact, and we can together work on the best outcome together. If we
Yeah.
can't work on the best outcome together, then I think that relationship has some problem from initial days, and then it becomes a problem, much bigger problem in the later days. The problem only multiplies. It doesn't add up, or it doesn't subtract or disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, uh, Anant, listening to you, what I'm getting is, and of course, there are a lot of factors that come into it, but you were conscious. You were very, very conscious about what you wanted to do, how you wanted to do, also very open to feedback. And you were very conscious in the process of whom you onboard as an investor.
Trying to, yeah. We have tried to. We have done our own mistakes. We have, there have been things where investors said, don't do this. We said, no, this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. And they would always come back and say, I told you so.
Some good opportunities you
Yeah,
have to give them, no, once in a while.
yeah. Good or bad, and we don't know where it lasts, but it happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're flowing on your conviction. And as one of my investors says that, and it always happens for a fundraise. It has happened with Milkbasket multiple times, because we are in that ultra competitive environment that there is no way that you can talk about, means we are the cockroaches of the grocery space, all the way from the biggest families of India, who have spent millions and billions for the last 10 years creating hypermarts across India, and then the mega giants from outside who have come with collaboration with them, and all the Indian things that has happened, and the Indian startups which have failed, done again and again. So we are the cockroaches. We believe that industry is wide, and we are going to do mistakes, and we are going to figure it out. And I think you mentioned about entrepreneurs. For us, that's how we look at the team, and we talk about it internally, that we are going to own up to the mistake that we have done, and we'll make sure we don't do it again. And I can give you an example also. Like, we did a mistake last year. We were growing and growing, and we were burning a lot of money. We said, keep growing, and if you keep growing, then you will get good funding. uh, we decided, or we figured out, was nahi ho raha hai, and rather than you shutting down, it's better you use the left of the money to become profitable. And we
Mm.
started on that path. And in a very, very different from Shraddha, and this is very different to correlate, we were provided an opportunity to grow at a very, very fast pace over the last couple of months, as
Mm.
COVID strike.
Mm.
Because as COVID strike, everybody wants grocery and everybody wants online. There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong in saying that the demand was on steroids. And
Mm.
it was not for us, it was for everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, and the only thing I can say is that we decided that, hey, demand is there, and possibly we are the only player, and this might come as a shocker to you. We stopped new user onboarding on 27th of March, 3 days
Why?
after lockdown, because the demand was so high that we could not even serve our own customers. Forget about
Ah.
onboarding the new customers. We were struggling with
Mm-hmm.
the supply, and we only opened it after 15th of May. So while we could have acquired 3x, 4x of the customers, and we could have also served them, let's say, by hook or crook, by saying that, okay, I can only give you this and that. The conscious decision was, keep your loyal customers, keep the thought process. I know there are companies who have gone 3x, 4x, 5x in that time, but to me, this is an inflated demand that we did last year by spending money. This year, it happened because of macros. Inflated demand always dies out. Inflated demands are not sustainable. So you take the. So last year learning told us this time that, hey guys, let's hold on. Let's keep serving our customer. There's enough demand within our customer base. We are on a path to profitability. As long as we follow that path, within that path, do whatever we can.
Huh.
Let's not deviate, because you can acquire a customer. You can because right now customer wants everything, and it's June, and we are already seeing that those customers are vanishing, not from us, from other portfolios or other. Because if I really want to go and pick up every tinda and every bhindi that I want to buy, I would never buy online. The only reason I bought online is because the physical guy was not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the physical guy. I'm running towards that guy. So,
Yeah.
you know, now if I would have served this customer, I could have spent a lot of money. I would have put a capex on serving that customer, create a supply chain, hired people to do that. And what would happen now? Customer is out. You can't bring that customer back who wants to buy bindi and tinda physically. So identifying your customer is very important, and letting go growth is also important.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also and the underlying thing also that I hear is that serving your customer, your core customer who's there with you, and focusing on them is also very important.
Yeah.
Anant, uh, this is also a learning exercise for me and for everyone who will be watching. Grocery startups or businesses, not just startups, businesses, if I may say so, are very tough, very, very tough. And I have in my last so many years of seeing the space, I've seen so many come, so many, and sometimes it feels like सबको लगता है कि हो जाएगा, और इतने सारे एक टाइम था, मतलब I don't want to name, but कुछ भी name से बहुत सारे थे, but चले नहीं और चलता नहीं है, फंडिंग भी इतना हुआ है, चलता नहीं है. क्यों? Why do you think this space is so difficult, and why do you think this space has still not seen unicorns, decacorns, what you're saying, like huge, large outcome?
Very difficult to answer, Shraddha. I think I have tried to answer that question to investors also a lot of times. I think it's a combination of multiple factors. Few factors I can identify right now. I can think about. First of all, I think a lot of innovation has not happened. People have tried to do the same thing. And this happens because the demand, when you see that there's almost like an infinite demand, means you're looking at a 700 billion space in India of grocery, right? Gurgaon city in itself spend more than $1 billion in grocery on an annual basis.
Wow.
Right? So $1 billion spend of Gurgaon, which means you take 20%, 30% of it, and you put a 3x number on it, you become a unicorn just in Gurgaon.
Yeah.
Right? Bangalore is 4x of Gurgaon. So Bangalore spend is around 4 billion. Delhi would be around 10 billion. $10 billion of grocery being spent. Everybody's eating, everybody's buying. I think so. It's all the way from supply to sustainability and to progress. That sheer number of attempts that are made in grocery, I think are too much. Why? Because everybody sees there is a demand.
Yeah.
And why would people not buy? And because the demand is so big, a lot of innovation is not happening. And people who are launching, they're launching more of Me Too models.
Yeah.
So, and it's very difficult to differentiate also. It's like, yaar, aata, dal, chawal ke andar, how are you going to differentiate?
Yeah.
Right? Everybody is buying and everybody is selling. Competition is huge. You can, there is no barriers to entry. So frankly speaking, grocery industry is one of those that I compete with a person who has 10,000 rupees and has put a small stall and trying to sell eggs and bread and butter. And with 10,000 rupees, you can start the business very easily. All the way to a person who has $10 billion and trying to figure it out what to do with that money and how to launch the biggest online grocery startup of India. So you compete from 10,000 to 10 billion. Competition is huge. A big demand, which prompts the supply that a lot of entrepreneurs try to do it. And overall, from outside, it actually seems very easy to do.
Yeah.
Because,
Yes.
because
I
this
didn't
is,
want to say this to you, but I just said कि हाँ grocery startup शुरू कर.
yeah, because see, again, it's a perception, right? Yeah, matlab, see, when you try to get into a business, you say, what do I know about the business? And if I tell you about a grocery business, you will say, I know everything about the business. First of all, everybody is a consumer of grocery.
Yeah.
So it's not that I have not bought a bank, I have never been to a bank, or I have not used a credit card or anything like that. So everybody is a consumer. Now, when everybody is a consumer, also automatically everybody becomes an expert. So it's like, I think, like everybody wants to own a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to, and
Me too.
I have not met people who don't want to own a restaurant.
Yeah.
And owning a restaurant has nothing to do with the fact that I love food, but that love food becomes owning a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I love fresh vegetables, so I should always sell fresh vegetables online. And within grocery, let me deep dive. There are more startups which try to solve fruits and vegetables as compared to atta dal chawal, because they believe that there are so many problems in that. कैसा पानी है, कैसी खाद है, कहाँ से आ रहा है. And if I tell you that product is ये it's like a diamond out of a coal mine, then
Yeah.
you will pay. The problem is people don't want to pay. So it's I call it. There's another phenomena, at least in within Milkbasket, and any of the people that you talk to within Milkbasket, they will say, Anant, uh, don't take this idea to Anant, and Anant will say it's a fresh juice phenomena.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll explain to you what is a fresh juice phenomena. Go and ask 10 people. If I give you freshly squeezed juice every morning, would you buy it or not? Obviously, that's the healthiest thing to do. Sell it to those 10 people. I can tell you they will drop out on the third day. Huge demand. Everybody wants it. Nobody wants to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because a
Yeah.
100 rupees fresh juice for three people is 300 rupees. Multiplied by 30, that's 9,000 rupees. That's 40 to 50% of your total monthly spend.
Yeah.
A customer doesn't realize it when they're saying it, that I want to buy it every day. They only realize it when they have paid it for 3 days, and fourth day, the demand disappears.
Yeah.
And I have seen so many of them come and go, but they would come and go, and people will always keep launching them. Organic fruits, organic vegetables, fresh juice,
Yeah.
that, because the demand is infinite and everybody wants to buy it. The
Yeah.
question is want to versus really do. I think that's where the disconnect comes.
Yeah. But you have, Anant, managed to, yeah, and that's why I'm coming back to Milkbasket again and again, because to me, you stand out because 5 years standing again, I'm saying, building this, innovating. And now, like today in our conversation, I've just get to know, like, I didn't know that you're operating in in clusters. You have subscription, you have on demand. I, and I don't know if it's a secret and you don't want to share, but are there, uh, what are some of the plans that you have? Like, are you going to diversify? What are some of the plans that you're thinking of to grow more?
Ah, uh, Diversify. I don't know what does that mean. I think
You know what diversify means.
no, not really. See, diversify is a very big. It's like subscription.
Ah.
I don't know what it means, because totally depends on. For you, diversification is we trying to sell an iPhone.
Yeah.
Can we sell an iPhone? Yes, we can sell an iPhone. Technically, there's nothing wrong with that. Are there better people who can do it better? I think that's true, and that's there. So we should not sell an iPhone. We can definitely supply those iPhones after you buy it from someone, and we can supply the cheapest and the best.
Hmm.
We are a last mile. So we are a last mile company. We are a logistics and a technology company. Uh, and I can say that possibly there are very, very few players, if there is any, who understands supply chain and logistics the way we do. Uh, and that's evident in our numbers, in our cost, in our fulfillment rate, in our customer experience,
Yeah.
frankly speaking. So is we don't have to say it. We supply 80,000 liters of milk every day, there is no single player in India who has been able to handle 80,000 liters of milk uh, every day, where they own the entire supply chain from manufacturer to the door. And
Yeah.
everything goes packed in a packet. It's not that they're just being dropped outside the door or thrown or stuff like that. Everything gets packed. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah. Uh, just to put things in perspective, we were interviewing a candidate from one of those Indian e-commerce unicorns, and the guy visited our hub, what is our warehouse. And I met him the next day, and I said, "How was the feeling?" And he said, "We only see that much rush twice a year. Uh, there are two sales every year." And I said, "We do it 363 days because we only take off 2 days a year." So for us, that's the hustle and bustle we do. Uh, and
Yeah. Wow. Listen, I want to ask you the first thing that you said when I asked you from your lens, Milkbasket story. You said the DNA that we have, right? And that the DNA and the people and the DNA that we have. Tell us, what is this DNA? The DNA secret sauce.
Shraddha, I think DNA is what I think in a startup are those little decisions
Yeah.
which become policies, which are created by people over a period of time. And
Hmm.
it's not necessarily who I am and how I think. It could be a guy who's no longer in the organization, but in that moment of time, he created a very customer centric policy
Hmm.
or a customer centric thought process.
Hmm.
And that person moved on, but the company retained that policy or further developed on that policy to come up something better.
Hmm.
I think that's DNA. So
Yeah.
it's made over a period of time. Uh, it cannot be copied. Uh, it could be I as a founder, if I say that I am 30% or 40% of the DNA, I think that would also be wrong, because that means you as a founder are not doing the right job of hiring the right people for them to start thinking about it, for them to create policies. It's the so from customer, it's how you treat a customer, how you respect a customer. uh, from employees, it's also about respect, transparency, promise what I'm hiring for, incentive plan, and everything. uh, but I think that's the DNA. Now, is it driven from the top? It is driven from the top, but you cannot be responsible for everything. You have to pass on that baton as
Yeah.
multiple layers come under you. So I can give you a very, very small example. I was interviewing a guy for heading our one of the functions for ops last.
Hmm.
Uh, and the guy asked me, how does the company work? What is the DNA? What's the thought process? I said, we have around 2,500 people, which is our entire ops workforce across 4 cities today. Uh, I don't have a problem if you don't pick up my phone, because I'm not your stakeholder. I'll have a problem if you don't pick up a phone when one of these 2,500 people call you.
Yeah.
Those are your stakeholders, because you and I do not matter. You are middle management, I am top management, and let's be very frank about it. I'm very frank typically with people, like you are who you are, and I am who I am.
Yeah.
But you and I only exist because this last mile delivery guy is taking a milk packet or an Ashirwad atta or a bhindi or a pyaz to a customer, right? So my two important stakeholder, or the most important stakeholders, become the customer, who can decide not to buy from me and go to the shop. And if they decide to do that, then you and I don't exist. Second is, this person puts an order, and this guys decide not to deliver,
Hmm.
and then also you and I go to home. Our success are because of these people.
True. Very true.
So
Very
to me,
true.
that's the DNA. Now I
Yeah.
have no idea whether there is a founder who or a CEO who talks about something like that at a middle management person who would be paid, let's say, 30-40 lakh rupees on an annual basis, to say, ki boss, the guy who's making 15,000 rupees on a monthly basis, you better answer the phone. Otherwise, that would create a problem for me.
Yeah.
I think that's a very small, minuscule part of the DNA on which we are saying we are hiring people. And we're telling people upfront that this is what you expect when you come in this company.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that flows through. And I think when this person hires, and if we decide to bring this person on board, this person know where the priority is. So the next time they will create an incentive plan or an attendance plan or a roster or something like that, depending on the function. They would keep that stakeholder perspective in mind, and that would become a part of the DNA over a period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. But what reeks through all this is an extreme sense of authenticity in everything, like in everything, right? Like, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
how you build good
that makes the life
companies.
so easy.
Yeah.
Authenticity makes the life so easy, because then
Yeah.
you can empower people, and then you can tell people that, hey, you created this policy. Uh, would you have created this policy if your son would be employed with us,
Yeah.
or if your brother is employed with us? And if
Yeah.
the policy is right for your son and your brother or your sister, then the policy is right for the employee.
Yeah.
And that gives so much freedom and empowerment for everyone to say that all we have to think about is what is right for human
Yeah.
at a overall, and then you don't have to micromanage. So, and the only thing I think you can do as a leader possibly is to say, don't micromanage. If you can
Yeah.
create an organization without micromanagement, the organization would strive and thrive on its own. And that's what was so apparent over the last couple of months, that no travel is happening. Nothing is, people are where people are. People are in Bareilly, people are in Lucknow, right? And we have grown 2x. Uh,
Yeah.
can you imagine that? It's just because they're taking the decisions, because a simple guideline is there to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Keep doing the right thing for the customers. Employees will take care of customers, and organizations will take care of employees, and stakeholders and investors will keep getting money because everything is working beautifully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and at the heart of it is that सब सही काम करना है, सब सही जो करना है सही है वही करना है. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anant, I think I have asked you a lot of questions, and I can go on, and I think we should do this as multiple series, because I have now found in you someone with whom one can have an extreme deep level of conversation. Tell me, tell me, if I have to ask you, what has these last 5 years meant? You have worked abroad, you've done so many things. You did, as you said, you didn't start with, rosy-eyed, the 20-year-old from college. अब मगर ये एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप 5 साल करके अगर मुझे पूछना है आज, अनंत, 2015 से 2020 में, what has this 5 years meant to you as someone who started Milkbasket?
Uh, Definitely nothing that I imagined, I would say. I think it has been a much difficult journey. And 5 years ago, if you would have told me I would have to do so much, 5 years, I would have gone and joined back as a partner or a country head in some organization.
High
And,
five. All entrepreneurs will give high five on this.
and take a multi-crore package, which I had 7 years ago. I have not seen that salary again. But yeah, it's almost to say it's sweat, it's blood that people don't see.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice, a huge sacrifice on the family.
Yeah.
Seeing kids only on a Sunday, basically for a few hours, for 5 years, seeing them just grow horizontally, vertically you don't see them.
Yeah.
And a lot of things, very difficult to do. Decisions that have been made, cannot think about those decisions. People who joined could not foresee that, oh, we need such people, and we have been lucky with the type of talent we have. Few people that have gone away to say, hey, when I'm hiring this guy would stay with me for 10 years or 15 years, as long as company is growing, and realizing why that person would leave. It's just unimaginable. Very difficult to explain. And you meet and talk to so many founders, all I can say is that I think you know the best. It's one of those things that you can't explain. You experience through it, you burn through it, you live through it, and you will come out minted in a very different form.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only, I don't know.
But you won't have it in any other way. You will still go. If I have to say, will you do the last 5 years again, like the same way, or would you like to change? Would you say that you're okay with the last
See,
5 years?
it's a last 5 years. Would I change it? I don't know. The answer cannot be a plain yes or no here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
there
yeah,
have been decisions that I would like to go back and change if I can. I also believe in that theory that you are what you are because of what you did,
yeah.
right? So, and those decisions I would have taken in hindsight would have resulted in something else. Maybe yes, maybe no. We don't know. So, happy and contented to where we are, how we are doing, the respect, the love that we get for being such a small. Like, we are a very very small player, but just the type of
No,
love that we get, and some customer who just write to us about some things in their life and attribute it to Milkbasket, that just changes your life. Never imagined that, for example. So while we are at it, a customer wrote to us 2 years ago, and this is a 2 year old anecdote I remember, uh, where she said that I have got the best employee of the year award thanks to Milkbasket. And we were like, how can you thank Milkbasket for an employee of the year award? And this is a customer, not an employee. I actually thought that somebody wrote by mistake to us. Must be writing to someone and went on a wrong address. So we called the customer. And she has done a calculation which we never realized. She said that on a weekly basis, I have saved around 9 hours.
wow,
On a weekly basis, 9 hours, which I would have spent going out, thinking about groceries, this and that, fulfilling the need. I was able to divide those 9 hours into two equal buckets, 4.5 and 4.5. So I was able to spend extra 4.5 hours with my kids, and I was able to spend extra 4.5 hours on my work. And I believe
yeah,
consistent 4.5 hour work over multiple weeks, over multiple months that I have been using Milkbasket resulted in me being the employee of the year.
wow,
You know what? Okay, I would not trade that for anything else.
yeah,
It's something that you cannot trade for.
wow,
Proper impact in someone's life by doing what we are doing. We have not done anything extraordinary. And a customer is paying for what they're paying. It's just, I think we believe in convenience, and we have created that space.
yeah,
And there goes. There are so many people who would not care about 7 hours in a week. It's like 7 hours in a week. We are, money poor and time rich.
yeah,
So for them, they would not use Milkbasket, and they're not paying subscription fees today. And they still say, why are you charging 70 rupees a month? And then on the other hand, there would be a customer who would say, ki boss, 200 rupees le lo, but service band mat kar dena. So, yeah.
yeah, wow. Anant, I have so thoroughly enjoyed and learned, and a lot of, genuinely I'm saying this, lot of respect for you. हम word use करते हैं ना, trenches में रह के fight करना और खड़े रहना. I feel that you are in the trenches and you're talking to me from there. Thank you. I really, really thank you for all that you shared, and with so much of authenticity. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Shraddha, for asking the right questions.
I'm going to keep asking you. We will have regular conversation. You have a lot to share, and we'll get you to talk a lot more. Thank you.
Always ready. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.